Video reaction. Dr. Phil. Dr. Phil McGraw, right? That's his last name, McGraw. Well, he interviews Donald J. Trump. It was great. It was a really good interview. This is what the Donald needs to do. Let's go on all of these shows, all these podcasts, and just talk. Just talk with these people.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Hey, we got this and so much more here today on the Joe Padula Show. Absolutely.
He doesn't wonder what it's like on the ground in Afghanistan. He's been there, serving our country and defending Lady Liberty.
Absolutely.
It's the Joe Padula Show, Clarksville's Conversation.
Hey, how you doing? My name is Joe Padula. Army veteran. Former Screaming Eagle of the 101st Airborne Division Air Assault. What? KG. On cue. But hey, I'm still a soldier. But this time, I'm fighting by your side in today's culture war. Absolutely. What's up, Bay?
All right.
Bay, you watch Dr. Phil?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. This guy, I don't know. I like him. Seems like he actually cares.
He have a conversation.
Yes.
So you get to hear all sides of the stories from everybody that come on the show.
You know, that's, I think, exactly what it is, Bay.
You know, he listen.
He listens.
And,
Right.
if you ain't trying to talk about it, okay, then show's over.
KG, you watched this interview, right?
I did.
The entirety, right?
Well, it was only 19 minutes on YouTube.
Oh, yeah. It was about an hour
Oh, yeah.
of conversation.
So I only saw 19. One thing I saw that blew my mind was I did it on purpose.
Uh-huh.
I put his on pause and I went back to another video.
Yeah.
And Biden's speech over there for the D-Day.
Oh,
Oh my goodness.
do you think he pooped?
Well, they only had
Is that the toilet paper? What is that?
220,000 views,
Uh-huh.
right?
Right.
And Donald J. Trump's interview with Phil
Right.
already hit 700-some thousand.
Oh, currently it's
Probably close
on
to
X.
a million.
On X alone, it's already over 3.2 million.
See, I don't have X, so I don't know that.
Oh yeah. You got it. Oh, you got to get X, man. Create an account.
All right.
I'm telling you. Elon Musk, free speech, man. What's up, Quinners? Oh yeah, that's right. We can thank him for the Catch Me Outside.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah.
That's right. What was her name?
I forget the name, but you know,
Bad Barbies. I don't know.
something like that.
Crazy
but,
thing is she made
But
buco
we'll-
money with that phrase.
But what really got me watching Dr. Phil was the what was it? The Scare Me movies.
The Scare Me movies?
What was they? Oh, it slipped my mind.
The
right
Scare
now.
Me movies?
Yeah, he was in it with Shaquille O'Neal.
Scary movies.
Yeah, Scary Movies, yeah.
That's right.
I was like, okay, Phil.
My question today is Donald Trump winning over the never Trump voters. And if he goes on shows like Dr. Phil, whose audience is mostly women,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
is mostly, I would say, liberal-minded women who just want to know the truth. Maybe. We'll see.
That and like drama.
Well, Dr. Phil is now he's on Merit Street Media. He's no longer the Oprah puppet.
Oh.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
And you could see what a difference now that he's not under the thumb.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
big thumb of
Yeah. Oprah.
that big Oprah thumb.
The Harpo
Yeah, Harpo Media.
production.
Right. Well, he went to Mar-a-Lago. Hey, did you guys know that Mar-a-Lago is a National Historic Landmark in Palm Beach, Florida?
No, I
Yeah.
didn't.
Since 1985, it has been owned by U.S. President Donald J. Trump, who resides on the premises.
Oh, that's the one that got raided, right?
Yep. All right, here's the promotional video for the interview. We'll start with that. Take a look.
Tonight on Dr. Phil Primetime.
It's a psychological interview that you're doing. You're sort of being my psychiatrist. I've watched your show a lot over the years. People break down, they start crying on the show. I said, that's never happening to me.
What do you say to yourself when the crowds aren't cheering?
I don't think I've ever said this on air before.
That's tonight.
All right, remember that promo.
What did he say?
Okay, remember? Yeah. Oh, do tell. because that promo's going to come back in just a little bit. All right, so right from the start, Trump compliments Dr. Phil.
Yeah, but Trump hair today, it's
It's
off.
Oh, yeah. Whoever was in charge of Trump's hair at Mar-a-Lago. You're fired. Okay, it's over.
Windy outside.
All right. Somebody close the window. Here, take a look.
You and I talked the other night, and I work in trial sciences for a lot of my career, and so I have a particular interest in the dynamics of the trial setting.
You know, it was interesting when you
Oh,
called
look
the
at
other
this.
day about doing an interview. A lot of people want to do interviews, and I don't just agree to them very easily. But I've always had great respect for you. I watch your show. Some of the real good ones, and some of the less intellectual ones, and that's okay too.
Catch me outside. How about
It's
that?
always been you've always been very special, and I knew that you were, in some form, very much involved with trials, and I found it to be very interesting that you would take this up. It's a very important thing.
Well, I wanted to, and I know that there was some news coming out of Georgia today, there was some news coming out of Florida today, that they're stepping back from this. And
Don't freeze.
I called for the other day, and I don't know if you saw it, but on Merritt Street Media, where I now do my show, I called for President Biden to stop all of this now. And of course, a lot of people said, oh, he can't stop it, it's a state case. Well, okay, that's an explanation for stupid people, but for people that understand how this works behind the scenes and all, I say the same thing. They need to stop this. They need to stop pursuing you. Since you started your campaign in 2015 to run for office, there have been so many attempts to get you off the board even before you started your campaign. Then once you were in office, 2 impeachment opportunities, they changed the rules to try to make it high crimes and misdemeanors if there were business conflicts, and in this case,
Never ends.
it seems to be never ending.
So he brings up, it's got to stop. This lawfare, political lawfare that's going on has got to stop. He starts with that, and he's going to end the interview with that. Here's some of the things from in the middle. Like they talked about the rigged trial in New York City.
It's so unfair. And then he gives a jury charge. Nobody's ever heard of a charge like this. He gave instructions to the jury. And by the way, the jury happened to be in a location that was almost no Republicans. You understand that?
Yeah,
too?
it's 87-13 in the last 2 elections, Republican. And I know you can't talk about it. I'm not under a gag order. I do know that the number 3 person in the Department of Justice took a pay cut and went down in stature to go to a state job and become one of the lead prosecutors in this case. But yet they say, hey, Dr. Phil, why are you saying that President Biden needs to stop all of this? It's a state case. That's exactly why I'm saying it. Don't be naive, people. Understand that there's a power play going on
It's
here.
controlled by the White House and the DOJ, 100%.
Gerard Baker wrote in Wall Street Journal today, and I'm paraphrasing, but he said, what do we say to those people that are rejoicing over reducing law to the status of a weapon in the hands of the dominant political power? Because that's what's happening right now. It's become a weapon, and that's not what it's intended for. That's not what we need to be doing. I mean, let's let the people decide these, right?
That's right. That was a very good statement in the Wall Street Journal. I read that this morning. And it's so true. I mean, it's so accurate. They've weaponized to a level. They are trying to affect the election by demeaning, hurting in any form. And by the way, I think after the election, the hatred's great enough that they'll go, but with much less enthusiasm. This is about November 5th, which I think is going to be the most important day in the history of our country. If we don't turn this around, we're not going to have a country left anymore.
Ain't that the truth? KG, are you voting this? Are you allowed to vote? Are you a convicted felon like Trump?
If I was, I'm still voting for him.
That's right.
But I'm not.
Yeah. He's not a convicted felon. Right. Yep. Joe Quinters. They are weaponizing politics, the weather, heat dome, and sexuality. It's disgusting. So Dr. Phil asked Trump about why he continues and won't stop. Oh, and by the way, we're just doing little snippets. I highly recommend you go follow Dr. Phil on X, where they have this posted, and you watch the entire thing.
Reaction video.
Yeah, reaction video. We don't own this. So, screw off, YouTube.
My question is why? I understand how. I know you got a thick skin. You're not one of those people that's afflicted with the need to be loved by strangers. I get that.
I think that's true.
My question is not how do you do it. My question is why do you do it? Why do you, 'cause let's face it, I mean, you're a billionaire, you got a great family, you're a very dedicated
Except
father.
Melania.
People may not see this in you a
Except
lot
Melania.
because you keep that kind of private.
Look
but
at the size of his son, Barron.
Yeah.
Trump is like 6'3", 6'4". Melania in heels is like 6'2". And Barron the Nephilim is like 6'8". He look at this beast of a man.
But my question to you is why do you subject yourself to this?
So there's a movement in this country. It's called MAGA. And Biden's always fighting it. We will stop MAGA. MAGA is Make America Great Again. And we were doing, I had an administration that was a tremendous success. Even enemies, I mean, we had the greatest economy in history. We had the best job numbers in history. That's why I'm doing so well with the black and Hispanic vote. They had the best job numbers they've ever had. We were doing things that were incredible. And I was going through Russia hoax. I was going through the impeachment stuff, all of that. And, in one way, I jokingly said, somebody said, can you imagine what he could have done? Because I had one of the most successful presidencies. And yet I was constantly fighting off the radical left lunatics. They are deranged. They are. It's like a derangement syndrome. But I actually said, maybe in some ways I did better because I showed something. But maybe if I had too much time on my hands, it would have gone too far. And the administration wouldn't have been as successful as it was. When you look at our job numbers, I rebuilt the military, largest tax cuts ever. Largest tax cuts, bigger than the Reagan tax cuts.
But higher
largest
revenue.
regulation cuts ever.
Yeah, the man was fighting with one arm behind his back all 4 years. KG, what do you think was Trump's greatest accomplishment when he was in the White House?
There's a few, but I believe the border was the best thing he was so successful with.
Right.
And like he said, if it wasn't for all these attacks and all these made-up stories, he probably would have finished the wall. And
Absolutely.
a lot of this would have been avoided.
Someone once said, and it was a great point that they made. If we didn't get any years of Biden, we wouldn't have a comparison. I'm not saying it's a good thing we have a comparison, but you know what I mean? You can be like, oh, so this is what it's like when we elect Marxists and socialists.
Yep.
They discuss the difference in the U.S. between Trump and Biden.
Everybody calls it inflation, but affordability. When we talk about
Justin,
gasoline
you're right. Justin's
under
right.
your administration, average
Melania.
$2.57 a gallon. Under Biden, $3.61, 40% more. Under your administration, homes average $320,000. Under the Biden administration, 31% more, $420,000. Under your administration, interest rates 3.8 average. Under the Biden administration, 39% more at 5.3%. Okay, now let's look at the border. Under you, average 1.7 million border crossings. Their official number is 6.4. That's from Homeland Security. It's actually about 13 million because I know I've been to the border. I've talked to the border guards down there, Brandon Judd. I've talked to Jason Jones. I've talked to the people that actually know the numbers. They say it's between 10 and 13 million. So my point is when you look at the actual numbers, plus the things you just talked about, lower taxes, higher tax revenue, you look at that and you would say, my God, he should be running unopposed. I mean, why?
And these numbers, I appreciate it, and these numbers are really, I don't know who made them up.
Very conservative.
As an example, I had gasoline down to $1.87, not $2.57. Right. It's now almost at $4. It's going to be at $5 very shortly. Right. It's going way up.
I took very conservative numbers so people couldn't argue with
interest
them.
rates, I was at 2.6%. They have 3.8. And now they're at 9%, 10%, you can't get money. So, we did a great job.
It is so expensive out there.
Mm-hmm. Crazy.
Everywhere. So, I go to Kroger, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you buy less. is what it comes down to.
Basically, yeah.
You know, you buy less. And that sucks sometimes, because if you spend less money, you know, actually you pay less taxes. And I'm okay with paying less taxes, but at the same time, I understand why taxes are out there. And when there's less revenue coming in,
Yeah.
what do? They raise taxes. So I like people spending more, so they don't raise my taxes.
Yeah, they raised the taxes so they could fund the war in Ukraine. So,
Joe Quinters, I only go to Texas Roadhouse once a week now. Lucky.
Go on Post. You save the tax on Post.
Yeah. On Post is good shopping. Yeah, shop at the commissary. It's cheaper. I hear you, but then I got to drive to the commissary. And guess what's not cheaper? Gas. The border crisis is brought up.
That's the thing I don't understand. Why do people want open borders where millions of people have come into our country, and you see what's happening to the crime rate? You know, a stat came out the other day that's scary. In Venezuela, Caracas, different cities, they've moved many of these criminals out into the United States and now happily in a location near you, right near your house.
Venezuela, the Congo, they're emptying the prisons.
At the Congo, we have many, many people coming out of the prisons of the Congo. But the prison population...
Why don't I hear this in the news?
they don't want you to know.
That these prisons are being emptied.
Yeah, they've been doing that.
Venezuela. Adios.
Yeah.
Adios, criminal. How do you say criminals?
Criminales.
Adios, criminales.
See you later. Don't come back.
Yes.
Nations are way down all over the world. Nobody wants to talk about it. Prison population and mental institutions, something you deal with a lot. You know,
I found this interesting, by the way.
What's that?
Because Trump, you know, these mental institutions, okay, they're just dumping them out. Every time he says mental institution, Dr. Phil puts up asterisk psychiatric facility.
Politically correct.
Maybe Dr. Phil, I don't know. But here, yeah, watch, listen. It happens multiple times.
population and mental institutions, something you deal with a lot. You know more about a mental institution than I do. That's your world. That's what you do better than anybody, as far as I'm concerned. You know the population of mental institutions is way down because they moved a lot of the most seriously ill people into our country. And Venezuela just announced that they're 72% down in crime from 2 years ago. Think of that. Because they moved.
72% down in crime.
Moved everybody here.
Wow.
There, I mean, you don't have to be a genius to realize they moved their prisoners out, but they moved their gangs. All the gang members are now in the United States, happily living in the United States. The United States of America has become a dumping ground because of a very mentally deficient president.
Agreed. So yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe his greatest accomplishment was getting that border closed.
What are you talking about?
When KG said, Trump's greatest accomplishment in his first 4 years was border security. So Biden's mentality, or lack thereof, is brought up.
And it's not him. I don't believe it's him. I do think he knows what's going on. I think he's sort of an evil guy. But he's not at the top of his game, and he never was very good at it. If you look at his foreign policy for years and years and years, you look at how bad he was on the crime bill in the 1990s, how he's been bad at everything, and he got lucky. Look, he ran 3 or 4 times when he would be, let's say, in normal shape, in good shape. He failed. He got it when shouldn't be here. He shouldn't be here. And he's dealing with President Xi, who I know very well. And he's dealing with Putin, who I know very well. And he's dealing with all of these leaders of these countries that they don't like the United States. They don't like what it represents. And they are at the top of their game. They are vicious. They love their country, or they want success. You define it any way you want. We've become a failing nation. We're a nation that's in tremendous trouble. We have months to go, we have somebody negotiating for us and dealing for us who is not up to par. He's not, and I'm not even saying now. I think 25 years ago he wasn't up to par, but he's dealing with President Xi of China. He's dealing with President Putin of Russia. He's dealing with Kim Jong-un of North Korea. He's dealing with very tough people that really are at the top of their game. I know them all. I know many more than that. And our country's in tremendous danger of World War III. Our country's, you look at what's going on with Ukraine now, you see what's happening, where they're talking about nuclear. They're bringing out the N-word, as I say, and they're talking about nuclear weapons, and they're talking about things that were never, in my White House, nobody ever uttered the word nuclear. Nuclear is a very bad word because of the power of weaponry. And we have a man that should not be dealing, and we're going to end up in a nuclear war. We're going to end up in World War III with this guy.
Nobody will win.
In my house, the N-word is nuclear. I love that he calls it the N-word. Yeah, he's talking about China. Well, Dr. Phil, I thought this was interesting. He brings up to Trump about China buying this land around military bases.
I don't really see why that is illegal for them to do it.
That's a great question, Bill.
Because we can't go to other country and buy land.
Especially not around their bases.
Yeah, I just think that's funny.
Trump brings up a good point about having foreigners invest here. Absolutely. But, yeah, around our bases?
Yeah.
Let's take a look.
That's fishy.
Look at this map. That I did a show about this. The red is where Chinese government has funded buying major farmland.
Yeah.
That's around
And
every,
then superimposed on that,
Look.
that's every,
Look at all this land.
yeah.
Wow.
Kentucky. Ain't that where Fort Campbell is?
Look at all this land.
Yeah.
That's right
Real
there where
close
Fort
to
Campbell
Real
is.
close.
Yeah.
Real close. Now watch this.
are some of our most strategic military bases.
Look at Hawaii, Oahu. Wow. The whole.
What do they
looks
got,
like
the whole thing?
That's what it looks like.
Wow.
That's crazy.
That's got to be an error, right? That's got to be a Photoshop error.
They always wanted Hawaii, though.
Wow. Yeah? Ain't that the truth, Bay? That's crazy.
California looks like 30 to 40% of that place is
Illinois. you say-
several.
Well, Illinois looks like my face when I was a teenager. That's what that looks like.
And you can see there's
Surrounding it.
there's Dugway Proving Ground. That's military equipment, biological, chemical weapons. They're surrounding it. Utah Test Training Range, the largest supersonic authorized restricted airspace in the United States. Whiteman Air Force Base, B-2 Spirit Stealth Bomber Base, missile drone operations, MQ-9 Reaper, Global Strike Command 3, Air Force entire Bomber Force Nuclear Command Control and Communications. Fort Liberty, Airborne Special Operations Forces, Rapid Deployment. We've allowed them to come in and buy up agricultural land, wind farms, no wind, no blades on some of the towers,
Oh, Justin,
but they're
thank you.
surrounding our military bases.
Right.
We've allowed that to take place. You may come in and inherit all of this, and it may get worse over the next 5 months.
It will.
What are you going to do about that?
Well, first of all, you mentioned a thing, Fort Liberty. Used to be Fort Bragg.
Oh, yeah, this is great. Right. Yeah, this is pretty good.
We won world wars from Fort Bragg.
Yes.
And they changed the name. And I don't even want to say that they spent $37 million in doing it, because that's not the most important thing, but that's a lot of money. You know,
pretty
that's-
disgusting.
That's now, I will say this.
Did you know that?
I didn't know they
I
spent
didn't
that
eat-
kind of money to change the
I didn't
name.
even know they changed the name.
Wow. Oh, yeah.
They've changed a lot.
Yeah.
Fort Hood ain't Fort Hood anymore.
Uh-huh.
Fort Benning ain't. I mean, it's just crazy.
That's.
Thank God we were named after a soup at Fort Campbell.
you know.
They're never going to ban soup. Not yet.
Want to let people come in and invest in our country at the same time.
Of course.
We want them to come and invest. We don't want to make it so impossible. We have to be careful. And this is a lot of land. What disturbs me as much, because we don't want to, say we're not going to let anyone come in and invest. That would be a bad thing. When I
But
was
they don't
young,
need to buy around our.
No, there seems to be a lot of activity around those nuclear sites, to put it mildly.
Oh, nuclear. The N-word. Yeah, the tearing down of statues and renaming the bases is he goes back to it.
But the thing when you mention Fort Liberty, I remember that battle. As soon as I got out, they changed it. But they changed many names, almost all of them. They changed the names of these forts where we won 2 world wars and plenty of other things. And you know, there's a great anger about that.
Well, as you know, they call it presentism. What they do is they take today's cultural standards and apply it to people's conduct 100 years ago, as though 100 years ago they were supposed to predict what the standards were going to be 100 years in the future and behave the way things were going to be 100 years in the future.
Right.
You can't do that. It's like you drive through a neighborhood when the speed limit is 20, then they come and change it to 10 and say, I'm going to give you a retroactive ticket. And that's what they're doing. They're holding these people to the standards of today's mores and folkways based on how they behaved back and in
That's
that
right.
time. It's called presentism. And so they say, oh no, we've got to take these statues down. We've got to change these names because they were behaving in
Bay, say that again.
They changed the speed limit in my neighborhood. They went from 30 to 20.
Good for you.
No.
You're safer.
They didn't tell nobody.
Oh,
ways that we wouldn't accept today. Well, but it was accepted back then. I'm not saying it's our brightest hour. I'm not saying it's our most shining time. But these people also did great things, along with things that we may not be proud of today, but that's who they were at the time.
yeah, they want to erase history.
That's what they want to do now.
KG, why do you think they want to erase history?
It's just to feed into this crazy era of these youngsters, you know, confusing them and trying to make them go one way versus the other. That's what I think it is.
Part of it, I agree. Another part of it, they want you to forget that they all had D's for Democrats next to their names.
Yep.
All of them. Jim Crow, slaves, KKK, all Democrats.
District cat.
And they don't want you to know that. They want to rewrite history into their agenda. Absolutely, Justin Nichols.
Don't forget.
Ukraine, Russia, Israel, Iran, China, and others are brought up.
They're taking weapons now where they can shoot deep into Russia. Where is this going? Here's the problem. With Ukraine, which is right next to, we have an ocean in between, they're in for a tiny fraction of what we're in for. And I know them very well because I did it with NATO. I said, you people are delinquent. We're paying almost the entire cost of NATO. So they, excuse the word, they screw us on trade, and then on top of that, we're supposed to defend them. And I said, it doesn't work that way. But I didn't want to do that on my first. I let them know my first. When I came back, I didn't want to do it. I was in office for like 2 weeks. Then I'm saying, but I said, you're not paying your way. And I went back the second time, and I said, you have to pay. Hundreds of billions of dollars was paid. They asked me one question, will you defend us against Russia if we haven't paid? I said, absolutely not. As soon as I said that, and I took a lot of heat from the fake news. The fake news went crazy when I said that because I said I won't defend them. Now you have the same thing. They paid hundreds of billions of dollars quickly, and that's where it got all the money to do what they're doing now. But remember this. So we're probably in for $250 billion. They just got $62 billion, and now I heard today that they need more money. It's going to never end. Now, you have some people that say it's not a war that should have ever been started. It would have never started if I was president. Putin would have never done it. First of all, energy went up so much that he makes money on it. When you get up to $100 a barrel, I had it at $40 a barrel, Phil. It's so different. Yeah. But it would have never happened. But now it has happened. Sometimes I hate to say almost that it would never have happened. And Israel would have never happened. The attack on October 7th would have never happened because Iran was broke. And Iran wasn't funding Hamas, and they weren't funding any of the terrorists, Hezbollah, all of them. There's like 28 of them. They had no money. They were broke. I said to China, if you buy oil from Iran, you can't do business in the United States. They didn't want to take any chance of that. Everybody stopped. And we had no terrorist attacks.
That's why you need this. I mean, you need someone who is respected. You may not like him, but you fear him and you respect him. Why? Because he's actually competent. He's got some balls. And he brings up something interesting.
He's a businessman.
He's a businessman.
It's all about that. It's not about being a politician.
Right. It's about the business. the business of America. He brings up an interesting point, and you know what? I didn't even realize this during his 4 years.
And I never wanted to talk about it when I was president because I didn't want to jinx it. I wanted to get up and say, we have had no terror. Think of it. During my 4 years, we had no terrorist attacks. This nation is in such danger right now with the people that you're just talking about coming in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all them people. So securing the borders is brought up again.
Just one little thing. In 2016, I got elected maybe because of the border. But that border was a fraction. It was nothing compared to what the border is today. And I fixed it. And you know, in 2020 when I ran, I couldn't even talk about it. Nobody wanted to hear about the border because I fixed it. I'll fix it again. But the border today is many, many times worse than it was in 2016.
Well, I've been to the border, and they just straight up say we're using tax dollars to send some of these children that are coming across the border into known prostitution rings, into sweatshops.
So what?
Because we
what them
don't
kids
have the
that
ability to
disappeared?
check. They're just
It's taxpayer dollars, literally sex trafficking
Oh yeah,
foreigners into this country. It's disgusting.
because half of them don't even have parents.
check. They're just sending them
Well,
off.
you know, we have 88,000 missing children. Now,
Damn.
can you imagine if that were Trump that had 88,000 missing children? 88,000, that's a Holocaust. That's as bad as I mean, think of it. These are young, very young children, and also women. They take women, and they trade women. And I had it brought down to the lowest level because I had a border that was actually strong.
And you're going to take it back to that.
Oh, we're going to bring it back, and I think then some.
Good. It needs to be.
Yes, sir.
Then, okay, secure the border. Mm-hmm. Then the mass deportation. And then they talk about legal migration. Because, you know, everyone's like, oh, Trump hates immigrants. Illegal. Mm-hmm. People that cross,
Illegal.
take that step, which is a felon, by the way.
Yeah, that breaking the law.
It's a felony. So Trump knows, you know, his other felons out there.
It's a very hard thing to do, but we have to have the largest deportation effort in the history of our country. Dwight Eisenhower had it very early on because he was one that wanted strong borders.
But you're not against immigration.
No, I'm totally for it. But
We need it.
I think we need it desperately. But I don't want their prisoners, and I don't want their people from mental institutions, and I want people to come in legally. I want to let people come in. We need it. We do need it. We need people. But we need good people. We need people that aren't going to blow up our shopping centers and kill people.
Amen. So Dr. Phil brings up, he asks us about dealing with the stress of it all.
You've taken every shot you can imagine. You've been criticized, attacked, called every name in the book. They've turned the judicial system against you, the intelligence community. 51 intelligence officers swear that this is a Russian plant, this laptop over here, right before the election. The media has turned against you, print,
Yeah,
TV,
Nichols.
radio, internet, in the streets. Not campaigning Donald Trump, just real Donald Trump. How do you deal with that stress in your most private moments?
So, two things. Number one, I don't like thinking about it. Out of sight, out of mind. I don't know if that makes sense to you. I don't want to think about it. Number two, I have tremendous support. I have the people's support. I think if I didn't, I wouldn't be able to handle it so easily. When a judge who has conflicts like nobody's ever had wants to put me in jail, when he puts a gag order and say, if you talk about these things, we're going to put you in jail. And I'm the Republican candidate. I was president. I'm leading the Democrat by a lot. He wants to put me in jail. I like not to think about it. It's like they say, oh, don't eat that food, don't eat this food, don't do this, don't do that. They don't really know. It might be good for you. It might not be bad. It might be good. They say it causes cancer. I say, don't talk to me about it. I don't want to hear the word. I don't want to. It's out of sight, out of mind. I think I have a very good disposition for trauma. But I have great support, Phil. The one thing is, because you mentioned lots of groups, and you're right about that, but I also have great support within the media. You know, there's a group of people in the media. You might be
Yes,
one of them. You're a
crocodiles.
very important force. The fact is, I've watched you so long. I just felt so confident when you called. I said, you know, otherwise, what do I have to subject myself to it for? It doesn't make sense. But I find it to be a very different and very interesting it's a psychological interview that you're doing too. You're sort of being my psychiatrist, and maybe I could use a psychiatrist
Yeah,
every once in a while. No, it's pretty cool.
Dealing with evil is brought up. KG, evil's real, huh?
Of course.
And it's everywhere.
Yep.
But if evil's real, that means good is real, right?
For sure.
You're fighting off very evil forces, and they're very smart forces. There are people that control Biden, totally true. I think I know who they are largely.
Oh.
But there are people that control him. They're very smart, very energetic. Possibly they're real believers, you know, what their sick ideology is.
Oh.
But you have to be smart, and you have to have confidence. I mean, you have to have a certain confidence. The other thing is, I realize over the years, you know, I've been through a lot, great and bad. You know, I won the presidency. Everybody said, how are you going to do? How good is that? It was the most incredible evening one of the most incredible evenings in the history of the country. Look at the celebration. I mean, it was incredible. But you also go through bad. I also I understand fully that the bad also disappears. In other words, you'll go through bad moments and it disappears. It's sort of funny because I've watched your show a lot over the years. See, I'm not ashamed to say it because some people say, oh, you watch Dr. Phil. Well, you know, your show is a very smart show.
Obama.
And I've watched you ask a question similar to that to some couple or and they break down, oh, they start crying on the show. I said, that's never happening to me. If that happens to me, that's the end of my political career. I think actually, maybe people would like me better. But I'll tell you what, you need strength. You have to have strength. And people don't want to see that. I've watched so many people, you break down people, and they don't even know they're being broken down. But it's different.
Well, that's the last thing I want to do with you, but I do want people to know you. I want people to know every aspect of you, and I know it about myself. I know that not every time is a great day, not every time is a hard day.
I thought you led a charmed life. You never had a problem in your life, right?
Yeah,
It's good to see him smile. Because, yeah, this man has been put through a lot.
I don't see how he could do that, man.
It's got to be Jesus. It's got to be the Holy Spirit.
Amen.
Not taking a presidential salary is brought up. Did you guys know that?
Yeah, I
yeah,
remember that.
Yeah.
For sure.
You know what amazed me? I gave up my salary. I didn't take salary. And it's $450,000, approximately $450,000 a year. So, you know, it's still money. It's
Yes.
a couple of $1 million. I never had a good story saying I did. I'm not looking for a story. What surprised me is there was a couple of stories. Who else did it? Nobody. Everybody took. I figured maybe Kennedy. It's a pretty rich family. I figured the only one that may have done it was George Washington. You know, George Washington was a very wealthy landowner. And they said the only one that may have done it is George Washington. I figured Roosevelt, maybe FDR. You know, there were some pretty rich presidents. Every president took their salary. Bush's took their salary. I didn't take my salary. I gave it up. And every month, I'd get a call from the fake news. Because, you know, you can't really give it up. You have to give it to an organization within government. You're not allowed to actually give it.
Right.
So what happens, you get the check, and then you give it to Health and Human Services, or you give it to the Navy, or you give it to the Army, or something. And every month they say, did you give it?
Maybe when he gets back in office, one year can go to the nonprofit known as the Joe Padula Show. Just 1 year, that's all. Just 1 year's salary.
Did he give it? And when you show them that you gave it, there was no story. And it was just interesting to see. The whole system is rigged. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
a nasty system. But
I mean, right. They're looking for like, oh, so he didn't give his salary.
Yeah. We were trying to find that, but
He gave.
every time, every quarter, VA
Yeah.
and other places that he said.
See, that's pretty cool. The Russia hoax.
Talk about the laptop.
Oh, yeah. Which Russia hoax?
The saddest is, I'll give you one quick example. I have a son, Don. He's a good kid, and he wants to help people. And they said he was involved with Russia. He knows less about Russia than that young person sitting right over there, who I'm sure knows nothing about Russia. And it was Adam Schiff, Adam Shifty Schiff, a bad guy.
Schiff.
And he comes out of a so-called intelligence meeting, and he goes to a microphone, and there's a lot of press gathered, because this was during the Russia hoax, total hoax. It had nothing to do. 5 million phone calls, I had not one phone call to Russia. It was a hoax, and it came out that way, and it's nice, but it took 2.5 years. And by the way, it was very dangerous, because at least Putin understood it was a hoax. You know, he used to say, he thought we were crazy, to be honest with you. He thought we were crazy. But Don, so they'd say, Adam Schiff comes out and says, Donald Trump Jr. will go to jail because of what he's done with Russia. And it was Adam Schiff and Hillary Clinton and some others in the DNC that they made up a story. Think of how bad you have to be.
They knew
you
they
make
made it
up
up.
a phony story about Russia, the Russia hoax. You have the dossier, you have the whole thing. It's all fake. They paid $12 million or something for the dossier. $12 million. They gave this guy Steele a fortune to do a fake story. It's called the fake dossier, right? Mm-hmm. They go to my son. They know it's fake. It's not like they think it's real. They know it's a fake because they made it up. And they say, Donald Trump Jr. will go to jail. So I call up my son. I said, are you okay? Is there something I don't know? How bad do you have to be when you can say about a story that you made up that you know is fake, that my son is going to go to jail because of the story?
How do you deal with that as a father? Because I've had it happen to me. You've met Jordan.
Yes.
And my other son, Jay. I've had stories about them. And it infuriates me.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Could you imagine? I mean, your kid, we're going to put him in jail. Mm-hmm. You know, coercion. It's friggin' evil. Speaking of Adam Schiff, I just want to say this, okay? It's okay to mock evil. The reason why I say that, I go to the book of 1 Kings, where Elijah, okay, you know, the Yahweh's prophet, is mocking the prophets of Baal. Because, what was it? There was if you set this on fire, blah, 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 my God will. Well, these 300 prophets of Baal, child sacrifice guy, real demon, wasn't winning the spiritual battle. Mm-hmm. Elijah's God was. So Elijah was mocking them all. He was going, "Oh, where's your God?" And in the Bible, it's a lowercase j. You go, "Where's your God? Where's your God?" Okay, is he? Yeah, look. Elijah mocked them, saying, "Cry aloud, for he is God." Lowercase j. Either he is musing, or he's relieving himself, or he is on a journey, or perhaps he's asleep and must be awakened. Yeah, mock. Check this out.
I called him up. I knew it wasn't true, but I said, hey, this guy, these are not stupid people. I call him Watermelon Head.
Adam Schiff.
He's got the thinnest neck I've ever seen, how it holds up that head. He's got a neck that's about a size 6. Very unattractive guy, both inside and outside. And people say, oh, that's such a terrible thing to say. That's okay. Very unattractive guy. Here's the thing. These are bad people. And it's not easy to deal with, when you have your kids involved.
It's okay to mock evil.
Dr. Phil, he be trying not to
Look
laugh.
at Dr. Phil's like, please don't make me laugh, sir. He's got I call him Watermelon Head. Gotta listen to that again.
True, but I said, hey, this guy, these are not stupid people. I call him Watermelon Head. He's got the thinnest neck I've ever seen, how it holds up that head. He's got a neck that's about a size 6. Very unattractive guy, both inside and outside. And people say, oh, that's such a terrible thing to say. That's okay. Very unattractive guy. Here's the thing. These are bad people.
So Trump.
And it's not easy to deal with. When you have your kids involved or your family, your wife, and you read stuff, in most of it is untrue. It's just totally untrue. But think of that. They make up a story and then they say your son's going to jail for something that they know is false. These are bad people.
Is that harder to take than when they're talking about you?
Yeah, for me it is. For me, I've become, I don't know, I've become different. Maybe it would have been tougher. I think the fact that I have such unbelievable support helps me a lot.
Support is important.
Yeah.
You know, your family, your friends. That's why it's a good idea to treat them well, because when you need them, that's when they'll be there for you. I got to work on that. So, political retribution. It started it, right? The conversation. And now, Dr. Phil, I believe his entire mission of this is he thinks Trump is going to get into the White House, and he doesn't want Trump to go after those who are and went after him. I get it, but I don't at the same time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like to say, hey, I forgive. I get that. But man, not with these demons.
Let me ask you this. Right now, headlines everywhere, of course, you don't respect, but there are headlines out there that say, when you win your second term, that you are going to make the people that have come after you pay. Retribution and revenge.
Yeah.
And let me ask you this before you even respond to that. I want to play what if with you for a minute. What if when you win this election, you said, enough is enough. Too much is too much. This is a race to the bottom, and it stops here. It stops now. They've made a half a dozen or more major attempts to take you off the playing board, and you just said, it stops now. I am going to rise above this cycle of ugly. I'm not going to play this gotcha retribution game. It stops now. I'll forgive. I'll not ever forget, but I am not going to play this retribution game. I am going to put the American people first, not getting my pound of flesh first. You got to do what you got to do, but I'm going to put this country as the shining city on the hill. I am moving forward. I'm not playing the retribution game. It stops with me. It stops here. What if you took that approach?
I'm okay with that. I am. I'm okay with that.
The shining city on a hill is a biblical reference, I believe, right? He's okay with it.
Sometimes, I'm sure in certain moments, I wouldn't be. You know, when you go through what I've been through, they spied on my campaign. You know, they spied on my campaign. Remember I announced it? They did things that people don't even talk about. And I got rid of Comey, and I got rid of a lot of people. I got rid of a lot of people. Thousands of people. At the VA, I cleaned it, 9,000 people. They were sadists. I got rid of. But what they've done is bad. With all of that being said, we have to unite the country, Phil. The country has to be united. This country is a mess.
Every situation needs a hero. What a great opportunity for you to stop this cycle, this vicious cycle of gotcha, gotcha back, gotcha, gotcha back. Every situation needs a hero. What a great opportunity to step up and say, you know what, it stops here, it stops with me.
I think you'll be impressed. We have to unite the country. We have to save the country. That's not really saving the country. There are people that did some bad things. I know who they are and all of that. But
You know, he didn't lock up Hillary Clinton. So doing the forgiveness thing or, hey, it's okay thing, I don't know.
May come back and bite you.
Yeah, I'm torn on this one, KGB. I'm torn on this one.
Yeah, I think he should do something
Punish.
to a certain degree, and then the rest, hey, let it be.
Like,
Punish what need to be punished.
here's what you do. Here's what they're doing right now. So, who was it? Steve Bannon. Okay, they want him to go to jail because he refused to go to. Remember that J6 committee?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Right. He refused to. They called him to testify or whatever,
He ain't got to do that.
and he refused to. He goes, no, I got executive privilege. No.
He ain't got to.
So now they want him to do. I think it's like 6 months in jail.
Yeah.
So here's what I say you do. All those J6 committee people, because when the Republicans took over Congress, they deleted everything about the J6 committee, all the footage and all the stuff that they had.
Is that allowed to do?
No.
Did-
So what you do is you put them in jail.
Yeah.
You go, listen, that obstruction. You know, here's the process. We'll put you to court for what's the crime? Obstruction. Okay. What's the penalty? Well, we'll find out. But I don't know. I hear you. It's tough. MAGA, make America great again.
We're better than this. We must be better than this, and you're big enough to do it. Every situation needs a hero. You can stop this. You can say,
Well,
no,
I think
it
it'd
ends
be-
here. It ends with me.
I think you'll be proud of the job we do. And, the word revenge is a very strong word, but maybe we have revenge through success. But that's what I'd like to see. I want to see the country survive, because this country is not going to survive like this. And really, the expression, I think it's the greatest theme ever in politics, maybe, because it's the biggest movement. We want to make America great again, and that's what we have to do. And I think you'll be very proud of the job we do.
Yeah. So the closing of the interview is very interesting, especially when the credits start rolling, because they're still talking and you can hear them. Check this out.
But it's been an honor being with you. It really has, and I think you'll be very proud of the job we do.
Very
You
good,
have
Justin.
rallied people. I had people in my focus group the other night that said, I have not voted for Trump before. I have not been a Trump fan before, but I have donated to Trump because he has inspired me. I have donated to him, and I am voting for him now, and I have not before,
Wow.
but he has inspired me.
Actually, it's been a beautiful thing to watch. Thank you.
Mr. President, it's been an honor
Thank you
speaking
very
with
much.
you.
It's a
Thank you
great
so
honor.
much.
Thank you.
So now the credits are rolling here.
That may have been the longest interview I've ever done. And you think Biden could do that interview? I don't think so.
No way.
After about 2 questions, I think that would be the end of
No
it.
way.
Anyway, this was, it's crazy.
I think he can do it.
He wouldn't do it. We covered a lot of territory, right?
Do you think
I
he's going to
support.
run?
I have said no for a year. He said something yesterday that's very interesting. He should not be president, and it doesn't matter who runs against him. When he said that, I said, ooh. You know that, right? Did you hear that statement?
Did you hear that?
I caught some of it.
He should not be president, no matter who's runs against him.
Right. Biden said that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know that, right? Did you hear that statement?
I did.
He said it doesn't matter who runs against him. With all that being said, people say yes, he's going to just run.
I guess so.
Okay, I see.
Are you going to tell me who your vice presidential choice
I
is?
can't yet, but we have some very good people. I'm going to do it in the convention. Come up during the convention, we'll do an interview.
I will.
Okay? This was an honor to be. Thank you, man.
All right.
Got that interview.
Man.
Dr. Phil's there.
Merritt Street Media. Nice job. So then Dr. Phil showed his audience the interview. Mm-hmm. Well, he also tried to promote it, and it got banned, his promotion, on TikTok. Like what?
Why did it get banned?
Check this out, babe.
Promos on the social media platforms about the interview for people to watch, and we submitted a promo to TikTok, and they said, "Well, we need to review this
I mean, you guys saw the promo
to see if
earlier.
it's
Yeah,
consistent
It's
with
same exact
community
promo.
standards."
Yeah.
It was just the promo here. I mean, it wasn't saying let's go stomp baby kittens to death or anything. And usually, now I don't do a lot of this myself, I guess,
China
but
talk. Yeah.
usually the review is like 10 seconds because they run it through like an algorithm or something, and make sure it doesn't have something in it that shouldn't be there. And an hour later, which is usually like 2 seconds or 10 seconds, an hour later, the message came back rejected. They would not put it up.
Demolition man.
And
Taco Bell.
which is really disturbing to me because it was just a news promo. It was just a news promo, and it's not like I'm a known conspiracy wacko or something. And I've got 7 or 8 million followers there, so it's not like I'm an unknown person to them.
Trump has more followers than him on TikTok now. Not even a week on it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But they wouldn't put it up because it had Trump in it. They didn't even know if it was pro or con. It had Trump in it. They wouldn't put it up. That's concerning to me.
Yes. Yes,
But
it
we
is.
put it on there because we wanted to get young people. Hey, watch this and find out who this really is.
Right.
Maybe you'll hate them.
why.
And so at least you'll know it'll be based on fact. So, but yes, ma'am, stand up. We'll get your microphone.
Because what was in the interview that TikTok had to ban?
So you guys saw the promo. There was nothing crazy about that promo whatsoever. To be honest with you, I thought it was a pretty weak promo. I didn't think it had any of the great quotes that was said.
You think TikTok banned it because he sold the farmland that China bought up?
Well, here's the thing. I don't think they saw the video. He didn't upload the video. He just uploaded the promo that got denied. Yeah,
I think they looked at the video.
they just don't want this exposed. Or at least they know at least Dr. Phil's kind of based. Well, he polled his audience on voting for a convicted felon.
Question was asked.
Yeah,
I would vote
maybe you're
for a
right.
convicted felon for president of the United States. 91% say yes. And then Keith and a few stragglers say no. So
100 people
91%
are
of
in
the people say
audience.
yes. And I don't know if that's because they think that's
Interesting.
kind of a bogus
Yeah, right.
Right, 100 people.
Right. Yep.
conviction or if they think it's
And that's after showing that interview.
Yeah.
a white collar conviction or something. That's something we need to drill down more on. But 91% of the people say they would. We'll see.
Most
Okay.
prisoners can't vote.
Right. Well, and you can't vote from prison. But actually, a convicted felon can't vote in Florida unless they're under New York law, which is interesting. Then they can vote in Florida. So, yes, ma'am.
Hi, Nova. So I was here Monday, and I
Ah.
stated that I was formerly a Democrat, now Republican, and I'm still undecided. Great interview. I think you did a wonderful job getting him to be a little more personable. I thought it was really funny how he took your stats and was really like, oh, when you showed him the stats on everything, I was like, I wondered if you gave him a copy of that because he was so impressed with his numbers. But I am swayed. My mindset towards him since I saw the court, when y'all talked about the court hearing and all that, yes, I don't feel like that was fair for him.
Yep. He talked to his audience about the interview. Continue.
Yes, sir.
Great interview. Saw a side of him I hadn't seen before. My name is Keith.
I know your name's Keith. We've
I
got a
still,
quick meeting this way.
yes, sir. I know it. I'm that bad penny. I keep showing up.
Good.
So
Just keep showing up.
I still have a problem with voting for somebody for president that is a convicted felon, and I don't know how to overcome that.
That is what?
That is a convicted felon.
Yeah.
Why not?
That's trouble for me. I don't think that somebody in that capacity should be allowed to run for president. But the rules
Politicians
are the
are
rules.
just smart enough not
Well,
to
that's
get
right.
caught.
And in fact, that goes to our first question on
Our founding fathers, they were treasonous,
You know what I'm saying?
right? They were traitors, our founding fathers. I'd vote for traitors.
poll. Let's look at that. The first question was asked. I would vote for a convicted felon for
Oh, yeah,
president
here's
of the
the poll
United
again.
States.
Right.
91% say yes. And then
Yeah. Dr. Phil continues to talk to his audience about the interview.
So watching your interview today, I think it actually gave me an interpretation that I've never had of him before, and us not seeing him more it actually kind of hurts hurts people on judging him. I guess if that's what the media wants to do, then they're doing a very good job at it.
All right.
Yeah, you bet. All right.
I was just thinking about when they ran the first time together, or the second time, and President Biden won. I have a lot of Republican friends and a lot of Democratic friends. I'm kind of neutral, but they talked about good versus evil. And I thought, well, we're not really in a Disney movie, so I don't understand. You may not like him. I get that. But now, 4 years later, the same people I know that have said these things say, I'm really upset with my 401k. I'm upset when I go to the grocery store, and they're all voting for Trump now. So it's, and on the TikTok thing, I do get on TikTok, and most of the people I have followed off and on, their TikToks have been taken down if they have anything about Trump. And I just think this is bias, and so that doesn't help his case at all. They just see one side.
Yeah. Does that bother you, that they're taking stuff down because it has that in there? What do you want to say?
Yep. Oh yeah, her. We just watched this
I was
one.
just.
But there you go. There's our video reaction to Dr. Phil interviewing Donald J. Trump. China is scared of him. I agree, Justin Nichols. But again, my question is Donald Trump winning over the never Trump voters?
That what it seemed like.
It could be, Bay. I can't figure it out, though.
You saw them in Brooklyn.
Yeah, so the Bronx.
All the
Right.
people that was,
Yep.
talking.
In Jersey,
Jersey.
there was a bunch of people at the beach.
Man. Damn. Let us know. Comment below. Hey, make sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, share this video, okay? And yeah, thanks for being a part of the conversation. No doubt about it. KG, you should go scuba diving. Think about it. Come on, you and the wifey. Like, just think. You could have been going on this trip that they're doing at the end of the month here to West Palm Beach. Scuba diving, beach, beautiful weather, hanging out, amazing people. Yeah, check it out. Waterdogs-scuba.com. Or what about maybe... Oh, you should get an office space up here. KG, that'd be great. I mean, you'd be surrounded by like-minded individuals, entrepreneurs. And yeah, they offer amazing suites, amazing accessibility to other amenities, such as an event space, a full kitchen, always free coffee, conference rooms, meeting centers. Yeah, check it out. Take the virtual tour. ClarksvilleOfficeNow.com. KG, you should play beach volleyball on Thursdays.
I used to play that when I was younger.
Well,
I was pretty good.
Maybe it's time to get back at it.
I don't know. I can't jump as much and I can't move as like I used to.
Don't worry. That's why all the hot chicks that are playing with you
I know.
are there to help.
No
Okay,
way.
your wife would love that.
No, she would.
No. Well, then you can play some cornhole on Wednesdays.
Yeah, I like playing that.
Yeah, they got a bunch of stuff over there at O'ConnorsFun.com. Check it out.
How's the food there?
Fantastic.
Really?
Like when you think of bar food, you're like, What I love about Greg, the owner, he makes sure that it's not bar food, that it's actual wanted food.
What you like over there?
The wings.
Oh, they got wings over there?
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh yeah, that's right. And Justin's right. For the beach volleyball, the girls that play, they have to be a 7 or higher.
Wow, that's nice.
Yeah, that's the rules. Okay.
Oh. That's almost...
KG, you haven't been to the Clarksville third base trivia night.
I have not.
The one on Riverside Drive.
It's Mondays, right?
Yeah, Mondays. Mondays at 7. You should. Oh, their food's pretty decent too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had their. And Bill, you know how much I loved my grilled chicken wraps, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Theirs is pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I told them no ranch, put honey mustard instead.
Yes.
What a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, if you get a grilled chicken wrap, get it with the honey mustard.
I agree.
I love honey mustard.
This I know.
Ah, yes, Old Abe's Brewhouse Trivia Night.
I still, when you put that pudding on your salad.
Yeah. What was it? It was pudding.
What was that?
Yeah.
Stevie what?
Yeah, that's right.
Marty Ray.
Marty Ray.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
And you went to go to the salad bar and you
Yeah.
put that pudding on your salad
Who puts pudding next to salad dressing?
because it looked like honey mustard.
It looked like honey mustard.
It did
Wow.
look like honey mustard.
That yellow?
Who puts pudding next to salad dressings? Pudding salad.
I thought that was funny.
I forgot about that, May. You've been to this one.
Several times.
Yep.
Yes.
That's a good one. I like it up there.
That's to me. That's the best one you do.
You like this one?
This is the best one.
It's a great view.
Great view.
Yeah.
A lot of TVs.
Yep, on all the screens everywhere.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it's a great experience. And everyone playing, it's always fun.
And they truly have a lot of different meals to pick from. Because you
Truth.
could get food from all the restaurants
That's
that are
right.
on those levels.
That's right. Wide variety. What about Wicked Good Trivia? You haven't been yet.
I've been 2 times last year.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
but
yeah.
not this year.
No. This year, it's totally different.
Really?
Oh, absolutely. With all the TV screens?
Oh,
Yes.
Wow.
Uh-huh. Yep.
because they only had one TV.
Right. Now it's all over the place.
So they got
and more
remodeled.
coming.
Oh.
And the food there is fantastic. And what I really love about their food, that team works hard to keep those prices down as best as they can. Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, check them out. Wicked Good Trivia. All right. Oh yeah, the frozen ice cream for the kids. That's right. On Saturdays,
Yeah.
kids, right? You get a kids meal, and hey, adults, order the kids meal. It doesn't matter. They're
Free
not.
cone.
Yeah, they're not going to check your ID. Right. You get a free ice cream cone. All right, let's get out of here. All right, not bad. Good interview.
Yeah. Reaction.
Yeah, good reaction to an interview. Yeah.
I call that a fair interview, not always interrupting and
Yes.
try to throw
Yeah.
other stuff.
Yes,
He
fair.
let him speak.
Fair.
It was an interview.
Right.
A well done interview.
And man, the left is losing it online.
Oh yeah.
How could he platform this clown? Like, wow.
Easy.
Wow. Just want to silence your opposition, huh?
Because the charges that are against him is BS.
That's right, man. Bogus. All right. Hey, thank you for allowing us, enabling us to have a conversation. And remember, hey, write back what is wrong, and then move along to the next one. Hey, Christ is King. God bless you.
Amen.
And Jesus loves you, okay? And he loves me, so that's cool. I like that. All right. Well, we'll see you next time on the Joe Padula Show. America's Party with a Purpose. Absolutely.